Welcome to our Golden Guide on Braille Reversals.
Hello, my name is Candy Lien, and I've been a Braille teacher now for quite a few years at the North Dakota Vision Services School for the Blind, and I've also done some freelance Braille instruction, and I've taught children and adults Braille. And one of the most common issues that come up when teaching Braille to somebody is the issue of Braille reversals. And when we talk about Braille reversals, we're referring to the signs that have another sign that is the same, but it's the mirror image. So for instance, and there are many examples. For instance, E and I, H and J, and Y, and you get the idea. There, almost every letter has a reversal, and some students have a lot more difficulty keeping those straight than others. So I've come up with a few strategies to help students deal with these reversal issues. These are all things that I have learned from other people. I have not really developed any of these myself. I've just picked them up from talking to other teachers and trying to find out what works.
The first strategy is overteaching.
One of the main strategies that we use in dealing with the reversal issue is the idea of overteaching one sign of the confusing pair. So let's say your confusing pair is H and J. Pick one of those letters, whichever one you want, and just really concentrate on that particular sign. So let's say you choose H out of the confusing pair of H and J. You have the student use the letter H in many, many different ways, both reading it and writing it, until that student actually just gets sick of that letter H. But when they really know that letter H, then they should be able to remember that the other one is not H and that the other one is J. So one of the things that I've done to help students overlearn a particular sign would be, for instance, when working with H and J, we've got just a plain old index card box here, and I put the letter H on it, and this is, let's say, Johnny's H box, okay? So inside here we put cards that have words that begin with H. And these ideally these should be words that the student thinks of him or herself. Words that the student likes and can relate to. So, for instance, we have hamburger, we have Halloween, Harley, house, and helicopter. And keep adding each day. Whenever a student encounters another H word, he or she can add more cards to the box, and then every day have the student go over these words and read them. And they don't necessarily have to be able to decode these words. They can be sight words, and it just gives them a lot of practice with that letter H.
Strategy number 2 is sorting.
Another idea is to make some cards that have words on them of a confusing pair and sort them. So for instance, these cards have words beginning with P and the TH sign, which are mirror images of each other. So I've got words like pizza, pancake, puppy, words that children would like. I also have words like thank, which is a word they come across a lot in their reading and writing. Thumb, thorn, think, okay? So you take the TH cards and the P cards and just mix them up, then have the child sort out and say, okay, put all the words that start with P in one pile, all the words that start with TH in another pile, so they're just sorting them. And then, then you can shuffle them up again and have them read the words mixed up. First you can have them reading just the P words alone and then the TH words alone, and then you can mix them up So those are, that's another exercise you can do with a confusing pair.
Strategy number 3 is mini worksheets.
Here I have actually made a little book of worksheets, mini worksheets. I just use a quarter sheet of Braille paper, and I have a comb binding on it. And this is a book of reversal exercises. And the first one here is and. Students often confuse the sign for and the letter Y. So I have the sign for and at the top, so they can always check, this is the sign we're looking for here. And then I have rows of letters or signs, and I just ask them to count how many ands are in each row. So I begin with signs that are quite different from and each page gets a little bit more challenging. Here I just have S and then and, X, W, and then and. So then I'd say, how many ands are in that row? And they would say 2. So I just have a few on each page. So you don't want to, it doesn't have to take a lot of time. You can just work on this at the beginning or the end of each class for just a few minutes. And then when I get finally to about page 5 here, I'm throwing in the letter Y occasionally with the and sign. And then eventually I will just have ands and Ys in each line. So it gets progressively more difficult. And then I've got, in the rest of the book, I have other pairs like E and I, F and D, and so forth. And so you can reuse these with other students, which is really nice.
The fourth strategy is making up silly songs or silly stories.
Okay, here I have written a silly story. The sillier the better. It'll make the kids will enjoy it more. And I'm working on the letter D this time. So I've got Donna is a dinosaur. One day in December, Donna said, I do not like living in this den. It is damp and dark. It is always dirty. The door does not work right. What should I do? Donna decided to drive to her daughter's house in Denver. Do you get the point? I just wrote a little story using a lot of words that begin with D, and I avoided any words that began with the letter F. So we're just concentrating on the letter D here in this story. Another strategy that I have used is to make up a little rhyme or a little song with the dots that are in the particular letter. I had one student who absolutely could not keep E and I straight, no matter what I tried with her. And I finally started singing dot 1 5, dot 1 5, makes letter E, makes letter E. So whenever she was reading and she came across a sign and she wasn't sure if it was an E or an I would start singing dot 1 5, and she was getting sick of that, but it helped her to remember that E is dot 1 5. In closing, I would like to say that I'm sure you will come up with lots of other ideas for overteaching one sign of the confusing pair. There are many other things that a person could do. These are just a few of the ones that I have used. And I want to encourage you that students will eventually outgrow this problem with reversals in almost every case. The more reading they do in Braille, the more they will get used to figuring out which signs are which. Help them to use context when they're reading. That is a big help there. But using context, and as they get older and are do better with reading and comprehension, they'll be able to use context clues better to figure out if it's an E or an I or an F or a D. Don't be discouraged. Keep trying, keep working on it, and it will get better.
Thank you for watching my golden guide on Braille reversals.